Wow. Thank you all so much for being here with me today and inviting me in to come and talk to you about Not Your Average Joe. And I am so thankful for all of the emails and all of the messages of the questions that was sent in for this event. It's an honor to be here with you today. I actually had to put some of the questions in writing. So if you see me referencing my book a couple of times, it's because I want to ensure that I really answer the questions. It was so many, and I appreciate the team here helping me pick out some of those core questions, because one of the things that I realized that each of us have in common here today is that we have all suffered or experienced the loss of a loved one, primarily the loss of a spouse. And what I want to inspire and encourage each of you today is that any form of loss is no greater than the other. It's all significant. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. At the end, we'll take a couple more questions, but I really do want to use this time to answer some of the core questions. And if it's okay, I'll move around a little bit and you all let me know. I know the temperature is kind of different in here today, but we're going to get through it. I know that we have other guests and panelists that are going to be here. So in honor of your time. So one of the questions that came up is, what inspired me to write Not Your Average Joe? And I have to be honest, I can't say that I was inspired. And I know that may sound a little, different, but I was very much in the grieving process when everything happened. And I know that Joe was in the process of journaling and writing his story. It was actually through our spiritual leaders that prophesied to him that there was a book on the inside of him and that he needed to journal his life because he had so many life experiences in such a short amount of time that we felt and that they felt needed to be shared with the world, not from a place of trying to make it into a money thing, but a place that could help other people grow and heal. And so I can't say that I was necessarily inspired because it was so difficult. It's difficult to remember and reflect back on the individual who is your best friend, right? That person who you came to and you guys did everything together, and to now try to put that story into a book. But I knew that it was necessary for his story to be shared. And I'm telling each of you this, whatever place that your loss takes you, examine it. You may not feel up to doing it right at that moment. It was 6 years and the book was just released. And so that gives you an idea, and that may not be your time. It may be shorter, it may be longer, but don't feel bad because you may experience those negative emotions or feelings. That really doesn't inspire you to do anything with what happened to you. So if that answers the question, what inspired me, and this is a moment of transparency where I can be honest, because we're here to heal. We're here to journey through these life challenges that happens. So I'm being transparent. I was not inspired, but I can say that I am so overjoyed for the fact that I was given the grace to be able to finish this for Joe. Another question that came up was, if I doubted my faith or if I still believed, considering everything that happened to Joe and the fact that he didn't survive his sickness. The answer to that is a short and simple yes and no. You remember I said we're going to be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. I doubted God and I didn't want to believe anymore. Absolutely. I gave up, and that's normal. And so I know everybody has a different faith, a different religion. And I have to be honest, I didn't have any faith. You do all of these things, you put all of this time and an investment in, and you feel like you're supposed to get something out of it, right? Primarily what you want. And I had a whole lot of spiritual lessons to learn in that moment. I want to share that it's normal to feel betrayed. It's normal to feel like, hey, I didn't get what I wanted. Who doesn't feel that way, right? And it's a normal, and you're going to hear me say normal often, because sometimes our emotions and even the world will lead us to believe that, you're wrong for feeling that way. And that's not right. You should be so this and so that, and nobody can really tell you how you are supposed to feel. This is your journey. It was my journey. And I had to learn through that journey that, hey, this is all about me. Something traumatic happened, and I'm getting through it the best way that I can, and I'm sure that's the same for you. So yes, I did. I wrestled so much with guilt and shame because I tapped out. Like, I felt bad. It's like I didn't want to believe, I didn't want to use the same faith that I was using to, believe for him, but then I felt guilty, and it's like, wow, you're such a brat. Like, how dare you, out of all of the other things that you've accomplished and that you've achieved. But it's like, okay, so I did have those moments. I had those conversations, and I say God, some people say higher power, whatever you believe in. And that's not a right or wrong thing either. And so it is natural, and it's okay, because guess what? Each day that we get up, each day that we're given the opportunity of grace to get back up, we have another opportunity to fix it, to move forward, to be in the moment. So yes, it's a yes and no. Where am I at with it today? I feel restored. And it took some time. And guess what? Sometimes I have moments where I still sit back and question, like, bro, like, what are we doing right now? And that's okay too, because I know that, religion and that whole thing, like, that's yours. It's not what anyone else can tell you. It's all about you. So I hope I answered that question for you. Did I feel uncomfortable writing about his previous relationships and telling personal stories about us? Absolutely. I actually got some emails, I got some inboxes about why I shared, and I have to make it clear, I didn't share anything. Joe wanted to share that. One of the things that we were so invested in, we were a young power couple, and people see you look good, they see the resources, they see you looking good, they see you drive something nice, and they assume that you got it all together. And we wanted the world to know, it's like, baby, we got some of it together, but not all of it. And we really did want to use our life to help other couples navigate the things when it comes to, connecting, coming together as one, building a future, doing all of those things and screwing up. It's a part of the book in here. We talk about the fight over the string beans in the Kroger grocery store. That was really, it was really interesting, right? But I did. But it's another message in that too, because again, we talk about faith and we talk about that religious piece, and sometimes people believe or assume that because you have this spiritual life and because you're doing the right thing spiritually that you don't fall. And we do. And again, that's what? It's natural. We're not perfect. I don't know if we will ever arrive to an area of perfection. But what I felt that Joe wanted to do was to show people that you can still do whatever it is you were purposed to do. And guess what? You're going to have some trips and bumps and stumps along the way. But if you are willing to get back up and get back in it, guess what? And this is why we called it Not Your Average Joe. So yeah, absolutely. I wrestled with that because I'm like, oh God, like this is personal. My parents, my mom is reading this, and she's going to know that we were living outside of the confines of the Christian marriage, right? We're sharing some deep stuff. Yes, Joe and I started, a relationship that talks about here in the book. And I'm glad that all of you had an opportunity to get it. So I want you to read it. I won't share a whole lot about it, but yes, we talk about that because that's real stuff. And would I do anything different? If I can be transparent again, I don't know if I can answer this question without feeling selfish or guilty. You know, we say that hindsight is 20/20, and I'm still trying to figure out what that means. You know, I get it, but I guess they're saying, like, if I could have seen, you know, in the future before we got together, I would have made some different decisions. Go figure. Who wouldn't have? Because we all have this perfect life envisioned. We imagine that when we say I do, that it's going to be this pristine union, and all of that stuff we say through sickness and health till death do us part. We say it, but we're not really thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to go out here, we're going to have kids, and we're going to be rich, and we're going to explore the world, and we're going to do all of this amazing and great stuff, right? But then life happens. But one of the things that makes me say yes is because Joe and I were best friends. This guy and I, we were amazing together. We loved each other, and it's so important. And I'm sure each of you have had that experience. And even if you didn't, this is your person. This is who you partnered with, right? And so I would, because it was through that friendship that helped us be a power team when he became ill, and when he got sick, and when he was at his lowest point. And it wasn't always low points. I had some low points too. He highlighted that in the book. I had some struggles through career, had some struggles with, you know, some medical things that we were dealing with. So it's not just that, but I would. And I know sometimes I thought about that as like, dang it, like if I would have known that this is how his story was going to end, would I have moved forward with it? And for a long time, I wrestled with that. And again, that's that other place of guilt. And I want to share and encourage each of you, if you're wrestling with guilt, I encourage you to begin to remove that, because guilt is a sneaky little thing that can rob you of your joy. And so I want to close with this. And I call it my parting words. It is okay to question life's existence. It's okay to question why. It's okay to question, you know, God, why in the world did this happen, right? And again, I'm old school. You know, we very traditional. It's that, oh, you're not supposed to question God. You're not supposed to question the higher power. Well, why not? You know, it's kind of like that thing where they tell you don't question your parents. You just do it because I told you to do it. That's not the best thing either. So I just want to inspire each of you here today. It's okay to lose focus and introspection from time to time. It's okay to need help and a shoulder to cry on. And as I see so many of our strong women in here, that I hear that so often, and I've actually asked people, please don't say I'm strong, because it's misleading, because sometimes people feel like, oh, you're strong, you don't have, it's a lie, right? As I tell people, the devil is a lie. Just because I'm strong, that doesn't mean that I don't need support. It doesn't mean that we don't need love. It doesn't mean that we don't need a shoulder from time to time. Yeah, we're strong sometimes because we have no other choice. We have to be strong so that we don't lose it all, right? It's okay to want to jump back in the real world. Some people will try to tell you how to handle your grief and how to handle your situation. Listen, my sister, my brother, whoever you are, this is your journey. There is not a manual. Even when we talk about the stages of grief, like there is no manual to tell us how to do this thing. You got to figure it out. I had to figure it out. You ask questions and you kind of build your thing from there. But at the end of the day, it's your journey. So if you're ready to get back out there and explore the opportunity of meeting the love of your life, go for it. If it's a week later, but take your time with it. Examine everything that you do, because one of the things that we all can relate to is that sometimes our feelings and emotions can be extremely overwhelming, and sometimes it can cause us to make decisions that may not be the best for us. So what I inspire and encourage you is to take your time. And that doesn't mean don't do it, just take your time with it. Your journey is just that, is yours. You don't owe anything to anyone except for you when it comes to your healing. Your process may not look like mine or the next person's. Don't compare. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't compare. A loss is a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make your journey or your experience any less significant. You matter, and I need you all to hear that. It doesn't matter what your journey Your story matters. And it's okay. I know that, we didn't get a chance to turn our phones and stuff off, but your journey matters. Your healing matters. You matter. Thank you all so much for having me with you here today. I encourage you to go forward with that journey, and please be sure to invest in the Not Your Average Joe. Thank you.